semis now, where the Spurs rebounded from a Game 1 loss with a statement 133-95 blowout win over the Timberwolves to tie up the series. Wemby finished with 19 points, 15 boards as San Antonio handed the Wolves their worst postseason loss in franchise history. After the game, both sides had plenty to say, two very different moves.
As Pop says, it's never, when you win, you're never as good as you thought you were. And when you lose, you're never as bad, or rarely. So, obviously stay humble and keep working.
I told the guys after the first game, like the natural tendency for teams that steal the first game, the away team, they get blown out game 2. So we can't come out cool, and we came out cool. And what happened? We got blew out. So, I mean, my mama used to tell me a hard head make a soft ass, and that's what happened tonight.
What do you say to your team after a tough loss like this, or do you let the stat sheet speak for itself?
No, I just told them we just got punked.
Ooh, no words minced there by Chris Finch, the head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Michael Wilbon, this series now heads to Minnesota with the series tied 1 apiece. Who do you think has the edge?
Well, normally coming off a situation where the underdog steals Game 1 on the road, I'm going to say that team. I would say Minnesota, but I'm still looking at that team without DiVincenzo for the rest of the season. And Ayo, while he has now come back, he's not back yet. And if you had those two guys and you work them in and you can put them on Castle and you can put them on De'Aaron Fox and you can have them available, I'd say Minnesota, given they also have gone to the last 2 Western Conference Finals, I'd say Minnesota, with that series swinging to Minneapolis, has the edge. But they don't have, at least Ayo seems to be back. We don't know how effective he's going to be. It's his first playoffs, real playoffs. And DiVincenzo's out. So I'm going to still say San Antonio, given the way they responded in Game 2, and also Wembanyama's complete hatred of losing. Yeah. That's what I love. That trait about him, we talk about all the physical attributes, his emotional and psychological makeup, and it just reminds me of the great players of all time. And Perk, you played with some guys like these, and Stephen, you and I have covered these guys forever. The guys who hate to lose and are going to drive their teams to respond after a loss, I'm always going to lean in favor of that, and that swings it back for me. Okay. All things considered to San Antonio.
I think it's funny because I thought about you seeing Ayo in that game against against the Denver Nuggets, us as Bulls fans. If only.
Makes me crazy.
If only that could have happened for our team. But Perk, how do you see this series with Minnesota now? It tied up 1-1 with the Spurs. It goes up to Minneapolis. Who has the edge?
The Timberwolves have the edge. Last time I checked, they got home court advantage. And I agree, Wilborn, that, Wemby has a hatred for losing, but someone else on the other side also has a hatred for losing, and Anthony Edwards. And the Minnesota Timberwolves are fantastic at home. They have developed an atmosphere over the past 2 to 3 seasons in that arena where it's a tough place to play in. They're undefeated at the crib this year, by the way. And we all know, because Wilborn, I've been watching you since this morning. I watched Greeny and Wendy and Monica and Allen. No one brought up home court advantage. No one brought up what it feels like in role players playing better at home. I said this a few days ago. San Antonio was in a must-win situation. They was going to come out with a certain level of desperation and tenacity and come out with an edge and come out with, and like Fish said, they punked them. But at the end of the day, you heading to Minnesota. Did you hear Anthony Edwards' post-game interview outside of what we played? He said he expect the crowd to be rowdy and loud. They gonna be drunk. It's gonna be rocking. This was his comments. So what he's saying is, we're coming home. The series is tied 1-1. This is a dangerous place to play in. This is not the Portland Trail Blazers, and no disrespect to them. This is Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Jayden McDaniels has proven he plays better at home offensively. We saw him in the closeout game, 30-plus points. Rudy is going to play better. He wasn't all the way there. Julius Randle, he's the emotional guy. He feeds off the energy of the crowd. I'm not saying this may not go 6 or 7 games. I'm not saying that. But if I'm Minnesota, I got on that plane last night real comfortable and cool.
Well, I'm not going to go that far.
I am.
When you get your ass kicked the way that they did, you don't get on the plane comfortable. You get on the plane with an attitude. You know what? We got something. I mean, they came back and smacked us. And our coach and our star said we got punked. And we got to do something about that. You're not feeling comfortable after an ass whipping. You're feeling urgency. Because what you don't want to happen is for San Antonio to get game 3. You see what I'm saying? Even if you split, you're almost better off losing game 4 than you are losing game 3. You lose game 3, San Antonio has the momentum, and they push you on the verge of being on the brink. That's problematic. You don't want to be in that situation when Minnesota after you just won game 1 and then all of a sudden you get smacked around 2 consecutive games. That's not, the back and forth was one thing, but to get smacked around back-to-back games, I don't think that will bode well for Minnesota. So my answer to this question for the moment is going to be, San Antonio. I'm looking at them as having an edge right now because they've got Minnesota on its heels, even though it's 1-1 and it's going to Minnesota. You've got Minnesota feeling an urgency to winning game 3 because of the manner in which you lost game 2. That's how I view it.
Well, it's going to be a physical series, and now the Spurs are really going to be tested because what did we witness last night?
Right.
We saw people ready to get their feet hot on the floor. We saw some technical fouls.
Right.
We saw some noise talking.
Right.
We saw a whole lot of that type of energy. So now you have to travel and go on the road. And I'm a little disappointed in you and Wilborn.
I was getting ready to say Wilborn. Put Wilborn up on the camera, please, because I want to see this man when I say this. Yo, Wilborn, we need to be disappointed in this brother. He all over the place. Let me tell you this. Wilborn, you think you all over the place. Basically what my schedule, the days are old. I see the Wilborn, all these shows he did yesterday and everything. I like, damn, that's how my life used to be. Okay, but now it's you. Go ahead, brother. Take it away. The point is this. Big Perk, San Antonio Spurs are going to win the chip. Oh, then he goes from that to, if they lose game 2, they going to get swept. Then he goes from that to saying, look, right now, Minnesota has got the edge. Perk is all over the damn place, but he talking about us, and you disappointed in us. We disappointed in you, young big bro. We disappointed in you.
Let me defend Perk to this extent, Stephen A. Because I heard what he said, and Perk, you did say if San Antonio loses game 2. You did say that. I'm just trying to be accurate. And so, listen, if they lost game 2 last night, they would be in every bit as big a trouble as Perk suggested. I just think that the injuries, Perk, I'm only going with San Antonio has the edge because of those injuries. Because, again, if you put DiVincenzo healthy out there and you put Ayo out there and you got Ant, and he can turn into a free safety defensively if he wants to, and you got those two and the fouls and the coverage, but you don't have them. And I know that Finch is so terrific at using his bench and deploying those players in various ways strategically. I just think they get handicapped, even going home, unless Ayo can come back and be the person that Courtney referred to earlier, be the person that he was in that first series where he drops 40. He didn't even need to drop 40. But if Ayo DeSumbo can be the player he was all year when he should have been considered by more folks for a 6-man of the year level play,